All right, we just witnessed some massive announcements on that main stage. The Agentforce platform is officially here and it's built around one goal, the agentic enterprise. Dave, that was a lot to process. But from what I gathered, this integrated open platform really centers around three core pillars. The first, building with AI, new tools that allow developers to ship code faster than ever. The second, agentic development, so enabling hybrid reasoning and a robust development lifecycle. And thirdly, the agentic engagement, so exploring brand new ways to interact across various user interfaces. Let's break these down one by one. So starting with that first pillar, building with AI. What were your big takeaways on how developers can actually use the platform to speed up their workflow?
Well, the things that piqued my interest straight away were firstly the multi-framework support. And this is essentially native support for building apps using modern UI frameworks, starting with React on top of the Salesforce platform. And this really opens up building on Salesforce to an ecosystem of developers using frameworks they are familiar with. Agentforce Vibes was the second thing I noticed. Agentforce Vibes has evolved well beyond its roots. In the keynote, we saw how we can now select React and mobile when starting a new project, taking Agentforce Vibes beyond just Apex and Lightning Web Component development. And lastly, we now have 30 plus skills available to build in a tool of your choice. Tools like Agentforce Vibes, Claude Code, and Cursor. And you can build things like Apex, JavaScript, React, and AgentScript.
Certainly some amazing new tools. Agentic development helps create apps and agents, but what about building agents specifically?
Well, for agents specifically, we saw, I guess, in a category I would call flexibility and openness, because we've really rebuilt Salesforce for agents. Agents don't browse a UI. They need platform capabilities exposed, so everything is programmable and accessible from anywhere via API, MCP tool, or the CLI. Enterprises across ASEAN typically run in highly fragmented tech stacks. They use systems like WeChat, Line, and every country has a different local ERP. So open standards like A2A and MCP are arguably more important in our region than other areas of the world. So it was exciting to see more than 60 MCP tools announced. We also saw AgentScript. This is a way to introduce programmatic controls into agents. Large language models think when sometimes we just want them to carry out an action. Having the ability to take control when needed improves the accuracy of responses. And then finally, we saw testing and observability. We built an entirely new set of tools to give you control across every stage of the agent lifecycle. And this is key to knowing agents will behave as you designed them by the time they reach production.
So we've got the agent development layer sorted. The agents can talk to each other, they can be governed, they can be trusted. But what about how we interact with agents? That brings us to the third pillar, agentic engagement. Dave, the agentic experience layer, AXL, was a big moment in that keynote. What does it actually change for developers?
Well, historically, writing code has typically meant knowing where that code will end up. Each device or channel often requires a set of rules that govern how to display information and in what format. The goal of the agentic experience layer is for developers to define UI rules once, so that agents and apps can surface information consistently across any channel or client. Think Slack, mobile, ChatGPT, Agentforce, and many more. In our region, where Slack is already the collaboration layer for some of the region's largest enterprises, this new experience layer means those teams get agents surfacing information in the tools they already use.
So 3 pillars, one open and extensible platform. For developers, admins, and architects, this is a great time to be building with Salesforce. Coming up, Jonathan Hatcher and Nancy Zhu. Nancy led one of the demos in the keynote. Let's take a look.
It's Jonathan here, still from the keynote room. Wow, what an incredible keynote we just had. And Nancy Zhu, thank you for joining us. And what a great job you did. Well done.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
How are you feeling?
Great to see you. Amazing.
More relaxed now than
It's
you were.
just so wonderful to see all the trailblazers in the audience. You know, you practice a couple times, but like it's so different when you see everyone here.
So cool. A couple of golden hoodies given out as well. So Nancy, well, first of all, please introduce your role. What do you do at Salesforce?
Sure. Hi guys. I'm Nancy Hsu. I help lead our teams at Agentforce and AI. I'm vice president of Agentforce, and a lot of what I spend my time thinking about is how do we actually help our customers build agents faster, better than ever before, with that trust that we all care about here
Awesome.
at Salesforce. So everything across the agent development lifecycle.
Well, there are a lot of really exciting announcements for developers, and as a developer myself, I was sort of geeking out during that hour. Like, what was your favorite announcement, if you had to have one? I know it's probably like choosing children, but like, what was your favorite?
That's hard to choose, Jonathan. Look, I think the overarching theme for us this year was really how do we help reimagine the developer experience for building agents, and that starts with the coding agent tools and all the capabilities we built. I have to say it's really just the capabilities we built, the headless stuff of enabling customers and enabling our entire Trailblazer community to build agents easily.
Awesome. I mean, I thought the, like up front in the first 10 minutes, the laying out the MCP endpoints over the architecture, that was a really powerful slide.
That was a magic moment.
That was a magic moment, I was pretty excited by that. So you also, during the keynote, we talked about A/B testing as a new capability that we're introducing as a pilot. I know you've got some interesting stories around how that kind of capability and that feature emerged. Like, can you tell us a little bit about why we created that?
Well, first, I am so excited about the new A/B testing API, and I think for all of the folks on your team, Jonathan, solutions engineers, admins, developers, like I encourage you to go try it out. This has been one of the biggest asks and something that I've really been pushing for, because with A/B testing, we're moving from the sort of first generation of, okay, we're all going to prototype agents, put it into production, see what happens, to now we know that you need to improve your agents, and the way to do it is with A/B testing. So, you know, this all actually started with our own help team here at Salesforce.
Cool.
You know, I was talking with some folks, and we have Customer Zero, we're Salesforce on Salesforce, and I was talking to some folks on Joe's team, and they're like, well, you know, we ship like 100, 200 different changes to our prompts every single month for our agents. And I was like, that's crazy. How do you know which one works? Right? And like, if you asked them a year ago, it was, well, we just try different iterations. We push it to production, get a kind of feel for it. Was that better? Maybe. And then we kind of roll back when it doesn't. And with A/B testing, that's all a methodical process. It's automated, and you can actually really improve much faster.
That's super exciting. And so with Testing Center, which has obviously been live now for a while, we've got a lot of customers in ANZ using that extensively. It's an amazing feature. How does A/B testing work alongside Testing Center in that kind of agent development lifecycle?
So I think about it as pre and post-production experimentation, right? So before you deploy your agent, you want to build confidence that this is actually something I want to put out there. And so that's the Testing Center use case of like, how do I make sure my guardrails are followed? There are clear, obvious use cases. And then after your agent goes into production, you feel like, okay, this at least follows my guardrails. Now I just want to see if it's better on CSAT or something that customers care about. That's when you think about the online experimentation, right? But you need a bit of both.
Like a runtime eval, like post-production, in production.
And you want both, and that's why it's a life cycle.
Fantastic, I love that. So I've got a trick question, but you know, for our Australian and New Zealand colleagues, sorry, that was not too much a trick question.
I was told there'd be no trick questions.
Yeah, that's right. There are trick questions. So if you're a developer in your team and you want, you know, this is a quite, you know, it's a very technical content. It's a technical keynote, obviously by design, it's a technical audience. How would you explain some of this capability, say, to your CEO? If you were a developer in a company, like, how would you explain, like, why should you care about this as a CEO? I'd love to get your perspective on that, like, why this is important to them.
Yeah. I think it goes back to, at the end of the day, if everyone in your company can build an agent, that's how you transform your business. And that's really what we're trying to do here, right? We want to make everyone into a developer that is super powered. And you know, for all the developers out there, I think as a CEO, you can expect that your developers are going to be able to write more code, develop faster because of all these advancements, right? So in some ways, sorry to all the developers out there, but like if you're not shipping an agent in a couple weeks, you got to pick it up a little bit with these tools, right? This is I think that's really the message here is like,
I love that.
We're transforming businesses, we're making it easier for anybody to build, and you have the tools you need to do it.
And we've now empowered all the developers with all these new tools and kit bags, whether they're using Cursor or Vibes or natively on their Salesforce platform. So anyway, thank you, Nancy, for joining me. You did an amazing job on the keynote. Super excited about these announcements. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Hi, it's Jonathan here from the Keynote Room. We've just heard some incredible announcements. I'm joined here by Colin Johnson from Aprika, an incredible partner and ISV from Australia. Thank you, Colin, for traveling out so far to visit us today.
Thank you for having me.
What an awesome keynote that was. Like my mind's still buzzing with all the innovation that was just announced. Salesforce Headless 360, the generated fabrics, you know, the MCP releases, the new skills. Like, what was your like now we're through it? What was your takeaway? Like, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot to take in for sure. I think like obviously there's a lot of rapid evolution going on, but I think the key takeaway I've got from in comparison to last year is just the maturity of everything. It just feels far more enterprise ready. I think for us personally as an ISV partner, you know, our product is a project management solution, so collaboration is a big thing for us. So I'm definitely excited to see what we can do with the Slack bot integration, because that allows us to put our information directly in front of the customer.
Awesome. And so tell me a little bit more about that. So some of the announcements around MCP exposing the stack now to both humans and agents is super exciting. And it's sort of been kind of a long time coming actually. So it's really exciting to see that announced today. Like, how will that help your product in the Australian market, and you know how are customers going to benefit from that?
Yeah, I think the key thing is like collaboration and putting that information directly where we do collaborate with customers. I think we're a relatively small business as well, so just like adding productivity to our own development team. It's just super exciting to see what we're going to be able to achieve with it.
That's super exciting. And on some of the generated surfaces, we can now use React, which is really exciting as well. I thought that was a really exciting announcement today. Like, do you see some of that kind of being built into some of the Slack interfaces that you're going to be building for your customers?
Yeah, I mean, like, Mission Control is built natively on the Salesforce platform, so we always try and stay native first and make it look and feel like Salesforce, so users are familiar with it. But yeah, I think seeing what we can do, given that interface isn't going to be needed, seeing what we can do inside Slack is going to, it's probably the biggest thing I'm excited about from that.
Yeah, you can sort of push the richness of those experiences now, which is great, and then reuse that across different channels, which is super exciting. So Agent Exchange was another thing that we announced today. It's been announced before, but we went a bit deeper today in the announcements. Like, how do you see that playing out for the Australian community, particularly developers? Like, what opportunity does that create?
I mean, similar to the APAC Exchange, right? You know, we probably wouldn't have run the business that we've run over the last 15 years had it not been for the Salesforce platform and for the APAC Exchange. So certainly the Agent Exchange is just the next evolution of that from our perspective.
Well, I'm excited to see what you guys announce and release on it soon. So thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you again for traveling out. It's been great to hang out with the partners and ISVs from Australia and New Zealand.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks.